Some of the participants, they might not have registered, but they are in process. And some who have registered may not be present.
Okay, fine. Whoever are present, I am grateful to all. Very good. Okay, so we have to see. Well, as I mentioned, 10 topics. So these 10 topics are divided in our Bhagavatam, and we see that Atra Sarga, Sarga Visarga. Somebody's mic is on. Sarga Visarga is primary creation, secondary creation. So first two cantos are like warm up, summary. The Sarga Visarga starts from third Sarga. Okay. Atra Sarga Visarga, third Sarga, fourth Visarga. Atra Sarga Visarga. Sthanam. Sthanam means what? How all the planets, they are situated differently in the universe. That is fifth canto. Sarga Visarga Sthanam. Poshanam. Poshanam is nourishment. The sixth canto. Poshanam. Atta Sarga Visarga Sthanam Poshanam. Utaya. Uti is desire. Good desire, bad desire. The example of Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. Good desire, bad desire. Uti. That is in seventh canto. So Sarga Visarga Sthanam Poshanam Utaya. Manvantare Ishantara. Manvantare is different Manvantaras, their description, their name, various avataras will come. That is the eighth canto. Ishanu Katha is the Lord's incarnation. There is some Katha, like Lord Ram's Katha comes in ninth canto. Manvantare Ishanu Katha. Nirodha Mukti Ashraya. Nirod is actually the wind up pralay. Nirod. Mukti is liberation. So Nirod is 12th canto. Nirod. Mukti is 11th. Ashraya is 10th. Like that, these are the 10 topics in the whole 12 cantos. So first two cantos are compared to the Lord's lotus feet. So different how the body of the Lord is compared to various. I think this is covered. Can I Krishna Prabhu covered in orientation?
No, Prabhuji.
Our Lord's different bodily parts are compared to different cantos. No? Yeah, there's yeah, so Lord's two lotus feet, they are compared to the first two canto. So when we take darshan of the Lord, how we take it from the lotus feet and then we go above. Like that, Bhagavatam also we start from the first canto systematically. Prabhupada wanted very much that we should start Bhagavatam very systematically from the first canto, not directly jump to the 10th canto, as usually the people do outside. So the two lotus feet, the soles of the lotus feet, they are compared to the first two canto, first, second, third, fourth are compared to the this thighs. First two the lotus feet, 3, 4 as the thighs, and fifth to the navel, 6 to the chest, 7th, 8 to the arms, 9 to the throat, 10th is the lotus face of the Lord, 11th is the forehead, and 12th is this head, upper head. 12th. So like that, the description of 12 cantos corresponding with Lord's different bodily limbs is given. The 10th canto, although it's the ashray, so we should not directly jump to the ashray. Or the analogy is given of just like different lights, focuses are there. You have seen in the altar, different focuses, focus lights are there, here, there, all the lights. Ultimately, what is the purpose of all those focus lights in the altar? Yes. What is the ultimate goal of all those focus lights? No purpose.
Hare Krishna Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, so that we can focus on Krishna only and can't
Krishna.
be deviate from our
Yeah.
aim.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So the focus of all the lights is to see the Lord's form. That is the all focuses are meant for that, so that we can see the Lord's form. So like that, all these focus lights are compared to all other cantos. And the 10th canto is compared to Krishna. So all those focus are meant to illuminate Krishna's body, Krishna's lotus face. So all other cantos are meant to glorify the Ashraya Tattva, that is Krishna himself. The 10th canto. The 10th canto, although very sweet and very beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna, but still we have to go systematically so we understand who is Krishna. Unless we understand the identity of a person, we cannot directly understand the activity of the person. So, who is Krishna? So that is dealt in all these 9 cantos. And then when Lord does some activities, then we understand he is Krishna, he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can do. Ete cham sakala pumsa. Krishna is to Bhagwan Swayam. He is Bhagwan Swayam. Then we will not get bewildered. So as Chaitanya Prabhu gives the example, just like some farmer who is illiterate, he has never gone to any city. So his son gets sick and he wants to go and get him admitted to the hospital. So now he takes his son to the city, big city which he has never seen. And then he takes that boy to a big hospital because his son is sick and he needs to be operated urgently. And when he takes to the surgeons say that he has to be operated, and they take him to operation theater. And then they take out different knives and all that. And he doesn't know who are these people and what they are doing. And when he sees, his father sees the farmer, and he says, oh, these people are going to kill my son. Already he is sick. And with these knives and instrument, they are killing. Please save my son. These people are going to kill my son. So why he is saying like that? Because he doesn't know the identity of the doctor. So that is why the activity of the doctor he cannot understand. So unless we understand the identity, we cannot understand the activity. So to know the identity of Lord, the first 9 cantos are. And then we understand the activity of the Lord. Then what Lord does is perfect. Then we can understand. Otherwise we will say, ऐसा क्यों किया भगवान? ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. ये सब बराबर, लेकिन ये Lord should not have done like that. Because they have not read only first 9 cantos. So that's why it's compared to the focus, which focuses the Lord's body, illuminates, but still we cannot directly jump to Lord's face, but to slowly go from lotus feet to Lord's lotus face. So that is the process. So that's why we study from first canto, second canto, third canto, and like that we proceed to the 10th canto, which is Ashraya. Okay. So we'll go and see the preface and introduction, and then we'll start with the chapter. The preface is there, and then introduction. So preface we'll read first. Yeah, let me see. One by one I will tell. Whatever sequence I can see from my screen, I will tell. First person I see is Ram Kishore Prabhu. So
Hare Krishna.
yeah, so you have Vedabis or Bhagavatam with you?
Yes, Prabhuji, I have Bhagavatam preface.
Okay, so you can read the preface.
Preface. We must know the present need of human society. And what is that need? Human society is no longer bounded by geographical limits to particular countries or communities. Human society is broader than in the Middle Ages, and the world tendency is towards one state or one human society. The ideals of spiritual communism, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, are based more or less on the oneness of the entire human society, nay, of the entire energy of living beings. The need is felt by great thinkers to make this a successful ideology. Srimad Bhagavatam will fill this need in human society. It begins, therefore, with the aphorism of Vedanta philosophy, Janmadhyasya Yataha, to establish the ideal of a common cause. Human society at the present moment is not in the darkness of oblivion. It has made rapid progress in the field of material comforts, education, and economic development throughout the entire world. But there is a pinprick somewhere in the social body at large, and therefore there are large-scale quarrels, even over less important issues. There is need of a clue as to how humanity can become one in peace, friendship, and prosperity with a common cause. Srimad Bhagavatam will fill this need, for it is a cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the entire human society. Srimad Bhagavatam should be introduced also in the schools and colleges, for it is recommended by the great student devotee Prahlad Maharaj in order to change the demoniac face of the society. Kaumara acharet pradnyo dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham janma tadapya adruvam arthadam. Bhagavatam 7.6.1. Disparity in human society is due to lack of principles of godless civilization. Principles in a godless civilization. There is God, or the Almighty One, from whom everything emanates, by whom everything is maintained, and in whom everything is merged to rest. Material science has tried to find the ultimate source of creation very insufficiently, but it is a fact that there is one ultimate source of everything that be. This ultimate source is explained rationally and authoritatively in the beautiful Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental science, not only for knowing the ultimate source of everything, but also for knowing our relationship with Him and our duty towards perfection of human society on the basis of this perfect knowledge. It is powerful reading matter in the Sanskrit language, and it is now rendered into English elaborately, so that simply by a careful reading, one will know God perfectly well, so much so that the reader will be sufficiently educated to defend himself from the onslaught of atheists. Over and above this, the reader will be able to convert others to accepting God as a concrete principle. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the definition of the ultimate source. It is a bona fide commentary on Vedanta Sutra by the same author, Srila Vyasadeva, and gradually it develops into 9 cantos up to the highest state of God realization. The only qualification one needs to study this great book of transcendent knowledge is to proceed step by step, cautiously, and not jump forward haphazardly, like with an ordinary book. It should be gone through chapter by chapter, one after another. The reading matter is so arranged with its original Sanskrit text, its English transliteration, synonyms, translation, and purports, so that one is sure to become a God-realized soul at the end of finishing the first 9 cantos. The 10th canto is distinct from the first 9 cantos because it deals directly with the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. One will be unable to capture the effects of the 10th canto without going through the first 9 cantos. The book is complete in 12 cantos, each independent, but it is good for all to read them in small installments, one after another. I must admit my frailties in presenting Srimad Bhagavatam, but still I am hopeful of its good reception by the thinkers and leaders of society on the strength of the following statement of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.11. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhadyavatyapi namaninantasya shonkitani shrunvanti gayanti grunanti sadhavaha. On the other hand, that literature which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, and pastimes of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a transcendental creation meant to bring about a revolution in the impious life of a misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though irregularly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. Om Tat Sat, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, dated Delhi, December 15th, 1962.
Holy go. 1962, was writing. So Prabhupada's ecstasy is coming out here. So now Prabhupada is writing Srimad Bhagavatam, the literature which will be there for now, for whole of eternity, 10,000 years at least. This Bhagavatam is like will be a torchlight. So Srila Prabhupada, why he started this Bhagavatam, if you know, that when Prabhupada was actually publishing and printing Back to Godhead magazine, so that time when he was going and distributing hand to hand, and the magazine was like some 4 or 5 pages of paper, and he used to distribute that hand to hand to people. And when one person he was distributing, so this person was like one postman. And when he took this magazine and Prabhupada showed this Back to Godhead magazine, please see, you'll benefit. And then he said, see, why you are publishing and printing this newspaper? Like newspaper is a magazine. People they will see, read, and they throw it away. Better is to print books. Then people will take them seriously. So books people will take seriously. So when he said like that, Prabhupada took it as like this Guru Maharaj Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur speaking to this postman. And from that time he decided that books are better than just magazine or newspaper, because people don't take them so seriously. But books, that's how he actually he had that conception of having books, and then he had planned to have 60 volumes of Bhagavatam. If you see that initially where Prabhupada does advertisement for Bhagavatam, there were 60 volumes. And for CC also there were how many volumes initially during Prabhupada times? CC ki kitne volumes the? Now they are of course 9. No, you don't know? In 2 months, how many volumes they printed in that marathon CC? You have not read Lilamrita? I think all of you should have known this.
No, we forget. We have read, but forget.
You are all now Bhakti Shastri pass out and all Bhakti Vaibhava entered. You must know this Prabhupada's some facts of Prabhupada's life. That time CC was in 17 volumes. 17 volumes. Prabhupada tells them that in 2 months I want all that. 17 volumes. Of course, we have now like 9 volumes, but now we have Bhagavatam in 18 volumes. That time it was this Prabhupada had planned 60 volumes initially. So anyway, so then that was the time when Prabhupada thought of writing books. So now here Prabhupada now revealing his mind, the preface here. So he is saying that the Srimad Bhagavatam has all the solution for today's chaos in the society. So he is first glorifying the society, how human society it has made progress, and human society in technology, and they are going ahead. But still there is what is there? There is a pinprick, Prabhupada is writing. There is a gap. Somewhere he is writing, there is a pinprick somewhere in the social body at large. Although we have made huge advancement, but still people within they are not satisfied. They are not happy. And what is the solution? Srimad Bhagavatam will fill this need, for it is the cultural presentation for the re-spiritualization of the entire human society. Prabhupada is saying that Bhagavatam is the solution. Bhagavatam has the solution for all this. Because he heard this from his spiritual master, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. So that was the argument. What was the argument when they first met? I want to know from you. And when Bhaktivedanta Saraswati and Srila Prabhupada, that Abhay Charan, when they met first time, what was the argument going on? Argument means it's friendly argument. But what was the discussion, I guess? Madan Mohan raised the hand. Yes. Yes, sir. You have to unmute. You are mute already. We cannot hear.
Prabhupada said, unless India becomes independent, how they can understand this subject. That is what the Prabhupada was saying to his spiritual master, Bhaktivedanta Thakur. India is now under hands of British. Unless they become independent, how they can take this Krishna consciousness? Bhaktivedanta Thakur told, see, Krishna consciousness doesn't depend on anything. Real independence is to go back to Godhead. If the politician will be there, but politician will change, but politics will not change. That was his argument.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, nice. So that's what he said, and same argument Prabhupada is giving here now in the preface. So Prabhupada was saying that time, independence, we require independence now. The need of the hour is what? Independence. Bhaktivedanta Thakur said, Krishna consciousness is an emergency. It cannot wait for independence. We have to take this process and spread it without waiting. The politicians may change, but politics will never change. Today somebody is ruling, tomorrow somebody else will rule. But Krishna consciousness cannot wait. It is an emergency. And he said one very important statement, that there is no problem in this material world except lack of Krishna consciousness. That is the only problem. You may say, no problem, but there are so many problems in this material world. No? There pollution is there, then water pollution, this pollution, and then so many problems are there, terrorism and people. All these problems are not actually problems. What is the only problem? Bhaktivedanta said, only problem is lack of Krishna consciousness. That is the only problem. If that is done, then all other problems are solved. So that's what Prabhupada is also writing in the preface, that only what we need right now is this culture of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then that gap which is there, the emptiness in the hearts of the humanity, that will be filled. So Prabhupada is telling how the Srimad Bhagavatam has the solution. It is the essence. Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate Tadrasamrita Triptasya Nanyatra Syadrati Kvachit. So it is what? Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi. It is essence of all Vedanta, all the Vedic literature. The Sar is what? Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarva Vedanta Saram Hi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate Tadrasamrita Triptasya. One who actually feels great satisfaction in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tadrasamrita Triptasya Nanyatra Syadrati Kvachit. He doesn't find any taste in anything else, only Srimad Bhagavatam. So how many of you want to develop taste only for Srimad Bhagavatam? Everybody? Or some are doubtful? Some are thinking, then what will happen to our family, and then what about other matters, and if we lose taste, and if we get all taste for Srimad Bhagavatam and we don't have taste for anything else, then how things will work? You are doubtful like that? If you get taste for Srimad Bhagavatam, then you will have no taste for anything else. So right now you only decide before entering Bhagavatam. Because once you get the taste for Srimad Bhagavatam, you will lose taste for everything else. So now is the chance. Similar verse comes with the gopis. Gopis chanting the verse. Remember? So in that also they say, if your family, your husband, wife, everybody, you have the children, they are very dear to you, then never go where? Don't go where? The gopis, they sing one.
Near bank of Yamuna.
Keshi Ghat. Don't go to Keshi Ghat where Krishna is playing the flute so melodiously in the evening moonlight. If you see him, if you see his face, you will feel such great attraction for him. You will feel no attraction for your family and anything else. So don't go, they are saying. But actually what they are saying, you should go. Like that. So Bhagavatam also saying, this verse also says, that once you develop taste for Bhagavatam, then all other tastes are lost. Shunatam Sukata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Udayantastu Abhadrani Vidunoti Surutsatam. One who has developed taste for hearing Katha, then Lord within the heart, he actually starts cleansing the heart. Special cleansing, it said, vidhunoti. Vidhunoti means special dhulai. Vidhunoti. Specially, he does some special dry cleaning inside when one develops taste for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And there is a verse which describes Pibantiye Bhagavata Atmana Satham Tatham Ritashchavana Puteshu Samritam Punanti Te Vishaya Vidushita Shayam Rajanti Tacharana Karoruhantikam. So it is said that Pibantiye Bhagavata, that when you drink the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam with your ears, then there are two effects. What are the two effects? One is Punanti, one gets purified within from all the anarthas, and Vrajanti. Vrajanti means one actually goes back home, back to God. So these are the two effects of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So throughout the Bhagavatam, there is glorification of hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada even says at one place in Bhagavatam that hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is more important than reading also. Why can anybody say? Yeah, Prabhupada writes that why hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is more important than reading. Can somebody guess? What is the reason? You can raise hand. Who has raised hand? Ram Kishore Prabhu has raised hand?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Because Prabhuji, by hearing, we are, getting the realization of the, pure Vaishnavas who are speaking. So that is more helpful even than reading, because reading we are in the text is there, but we are hearing from great Vaishnavas.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any other answer? Sai Sudrik. Yes.
We can ask questions and get our doubts cleared.
Acha, we can ask questions and get the doubts cleared. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Why hearing is more important?
Lesser chance of misinterpretation.
Lesser chance of misinterpretation of the text. Okay, good. Thank you. Anything?
Hearing is possible for everyone, Prabhu. Reading may not be possible for everyone.
Pardon?
Hearing is possible for everyone, but reading may not be possible depending on whether they are literate or not.
Oh, acha, yeah. Somebody illiterate, he may not be able to read. Hearing is possible. Good. Who is raising? Anuj Goyal.
In hearing, speaker is in front of us, so like more effect would be there.
Acha. But in online, I'm not in the front. Of course, I'm in the front. I'm in the screen. Okay, but still is effective. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Raj Gauri Mataji, Srikant Krishna Prabhu. Yeah. Yes. Right, I have pronounced right now. Raj Gauri Mataji and Srikant Krishna Prabhu. Yes. You raise the hand, please. Your video is off and your audio is also off. You have to press on it and then speak.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
When we read the book, there is a chance that we might interpret on our own, in our own way, that may not be in the right direction of Krishna consciousness. That is the risk there.
Okay. Yeah, we may misinterpret the text. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Then Shobha Lakshmi Mataji. Yes. No, your sound is not.
Shravanam is included in Navavida Bhakti.
Okay, Shravanam is included. Reading? Not included. Reading is included in Shravan. Okay, that is part of Shravan only. Yeah, thank you. Achut Seva Prabhu.
Prabhu, with the hearing, there is a sound vibration which from the realized soul, which is more effective and help in the cleansing of the heart.
Okay, but sound vibration helps in cleansing of the heart. Okay, thank you. Now last, Madan Mohan Bro, yeah.
The sound vibration through the holes of ear directly penetrates the heart and it makes us to think it more deeply rather than only reading it.
Yeah, good. Sound vibration enters directly in the heart, and then it brings transformation. Oh, good. Thank you. Okay, last we'll take Yashika Ahuja.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, actually, the speaker is transferring his consciousness basically while speaking. So we are entering into his consciousness and also his knowledge.
Good.
And
Yeah.
also his realization.
Yeah, very important. And how, when the speaker is speaking, he transfers the consciousness also. Very important. So the audience catches that, and that brings the transformation.
And also we are getting some kripa also. Vaishnav kripa.
Thank you. Okay, one last now we'll see who is Daya Mai Sachi Devi Antaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Also on a mundane basis, if only by reading we could understand everything, then there would be not requirement of any schools, colleges, universities.
Yeah.
Understand. So
That's true.
on mundane, it is so important, and on spiritual basis, it's even more important.
Hearing from somebody for any education or anything we want to learn, we join some class where some person is teaching, right? And then that becomes so easy for us to understand rather than reading and like that. So yeah, we see in mundane education like that. So even in Bhagavatam, okay, traditionally we had hearing only, reading becomes possible only after Ganesh wrote in the beginning. When somebody is saying that previously only hearing was there, reading came recently, 5,000 years ago. Vyasdev wrote for Kali Yuga Jivas. Ganesh ji wrote. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So yeah, what all you have told, that's why Prabhupada says how hearing is more important. That doesn't mean that we should not read Prabhupada books. Prabhupada books reading is also hearing. But hearing from some speaker, what happens, you get additional realization, what he has to say and how to present that text in the audience. You also learn, and also it brings sudden transformation, immediate transformation. So hearing is very, very effective. So the speaker is there, lively, you hear, you can clarify the doubts, and that is like direct impact. So one devotee was giving the analogy of, if like somebody gets some disease, then like suppose you have fever, and then you go to a doctor, then he gives some tablets, right, and antibiotics or like that. Then you take that, and after some hours it shows the effect and the fever temperature goes down. But when the fever is very high, then what the doctor does is, the doctor then gives injection. When the injection is given, then it acts immediately. The tablets take some hours to act, but the injection acts immediately, instantly. Injection has more potency. So like that, hearing is compared to the injection. Immediate effect is there. But I'm reading, it takes some time, like a tablet you take, and then it acts, it goes in the bloodstream like that. So that's why hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very important. And here Prabhupada is giving in the preface that how Srimad Bhagavatam is the solution for the problems right now we are having in the society. It can fill this need. Srimad Bhagavatam can fill this need. So we are so very, very fortunate that we have got this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is translated by Srila Prabhupada and given to us. It is just like the ripened fruit of the Vedic literature. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam sukamupadam vridravisantam. So that verse will come. So it has to be drunk by the ears, and it is only juice and juice and juice. There is no skin and there is no gutli. Just you drink. Suppose if you get a mango, now this is mango season, na? Mangoes. So mango means when you get a mango which has no seed and no cover. How many of you would like to eat such a mango? In hot summer, a sweet mango which has no skin and no seed, which is only pure pulp. You would like to drink, eat that mango? It feels so nice, no? So like that, Srimad Bhagavatam is it. Rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhui bhavuka. So you want to drink it again and again, again. It has to be drunk. Srimad Bhagavatam, that's why it's called Pibanti Bhag. You have to drink. It's like a juice. It's very sweet. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is the solution. It is the ultimate essence of all Vedic literatures. So Vyasdeva has given us previously, as somebody said, that there was no culture of writing and notes and reading. But Vyasdeva saw that in Kali Yuga, people will be very dull-minded. Prayana alpa ayusha sabhya kalavo asmin yuge jana mandas manda mataya manda bhagya padrita. And that's why Vyasdeva wrote in a written form. And we know how Ganesh wrote it and Vyasdeva spoke it. When Ganesh was called for writing, Ganesh ji put one condition. You know what was the condition? Vyasdeva put one condition and Ganesh ji put one condition. Anybody knows? When the writing began. Yes, the Tulsi Priya Mata.
Prabhuji, Ganesh said he will not stop writing, and Vyasdev said, if you don't understand, then you have to stop and ask me. So till that time he can breathe, because it was like he can't even breathe. He has to keep dictating him.
Yeah. So Vyasdev put a condition on Ganesh that you should write as as I'm speaking immediately. Yes, Vyasdev said that you should write when you understand and write. Don't just write. And then Ganeshji spoke. Ganeshji had condition that you should speak continuously. I don't want to be free for some time. You are thinking like that. You should say, and I will write. But then Vyasdev put this condition: you should understand and write, not just write. So whenever Vyasdev would require some time, so what he will do, he'll put some puzzle in between. So when he would put some puzzle, then Ganesh ji had to think, iska meaning kya hai? So till the time Ganesh ji is thinking, because he has to understand and write, till that time Vyasdev will think what to tell ahead. Both were very intelligent. And then he would put some puzzle, like one I remember at least, which is he would say that which is the animal whose juta even Lord also drinks, Lord also eats. भगवान को तो हमारा झूठा नहीं देते ना, but there is one kind of animal whose झूठा भगवान भी खाते हैं. ऐसा कौन सा प्राणी? तो फिर गणेश जी सोचने लगे, क्या है, कौन सा प्राणी? Till that time Vyasdev then think for what to do, what to tell next. Okay, so now for you this question is there. So you think now, which is the animal whose झूठा? Vasudev Krishna Prabhu. Yes.
Calf will drink the milk.
Haribo. Calf. 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 I go to Vella regularly. I see calf drinks. First he is allowed to drink for 5 minutes. And then usko nikalte hai, fir दूध निकालते. So that is like झूठा. वो निकाल के भगवान को अर्पण कर दे. And then one more I remember is which is the animal who vomits. और वो vomit से भगवान का अभिषेक करते हैं. ऐसा कौन सा प्राणी? You are all intelligent, you know. Like Shubha Lakshmi Mataji.
Honeybee.
Honeybee, yes. Honeybee doing the honey and then that honey is used for a lot of things. So I say Vyasdev बीच में puzzles डालते थे. Anyway, so Vyasdev spoke and then and then Ganesh ji wrote. So this Prabhupada is saying here. And Prabhupada also saying one more important point. Tadvag visargo janatao gavitlavo. So he's saying this literature, although there will be many mistakes, but those who are advanced souls, they will take it as pure literature, full with the essence. So although this description and name from different creations full of transcendental directed toward impious life, so even though imperfectly composed and heard and sung accepted by purified men. So we have to understand that Bhagavatam is of course Amal Puran, and it's perfect. There is no contamination. But like our Acharya, when they are giving some commentary, and different Acharyas have given, almost like 15 Acharyas have given commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. So there may be different viewpoints. So when we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam, we should appreciate them all and see that it is enhancing the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sometimes you may see some contradiction also. So one should not get bewildered. Arey, ye Acharya ne aise bola, ye Acharya ne aise bola, ye aise kaise ho sakta hai? Oh, we are contradicting. So contradiction may be because different devotees have different viewpoint of seeing the same story. Like Chaitanya will give example, just like some event has happened, big event, Prime Minister has come or somebody come in the city. So different news channels come and they cover the whole event and then they give an article. So each article, the event is same, but each article will be different because each individual has seen the same event and he is writing according to his viewpoint. So similarly, our acharyas see the same event happening and they give different comments. So we should not see some deficiencies there, or in some cases we see in Prabhupada some translation or in purport. Translation may be one. In purport, Prabhupada is speaking about devotional service. Translation may be about Ashtanga Yoga or something. Prabhupada will speak about Hare Krishna. At this age only Hare Krishna is the only way. And you may feel like what? And in sometimes word to word something is there or some mistake may be there. So that one should consider it, should not consider it. Because this literature is going to bring transformation in the lives of people. So what value this small mistake has? They are just overlooked by intelligent people. So you may see where some present tense is there in the shloka and Prabhupada may write it in past tense or like that. Some grammatical mistakes may be there in Sanskrit translation. So they should not be considered as mistakes. So that's what Prabhupada is writing, that there may be some mistakes, but intelligent people consider this literature pure. Like that. Yeah. Okay, so preface we have covered. So we will go to the introduction. Till now, anybody has any question or something? Who's raising hand? Yashika. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Prabhuji, I have a request actually. Can we take explanation on the cover also?
Pardon?
Will you cover explanation on the cover also?
Cover?
Yeah. It's about spiritual planets.
Okay.
Vrindavan.
Oh, in my Veda base there is no cover. Okay.
Yeah,
Cover. Just a minute, let me see the cover if it is there. Picture here. Oh, it's not there. Anyway, actually, you want to know why that? Oh, that one. See, that is. Yeah. So different planets are shown in the first canto cover. So they are all spiritual planets. And Prabhupada writes that in the Brahma Jyoti, these different planets are like floating. So there is this Mahesh Dham, which is this material world. And then, like we know, the 40 planetary systems and all that. And then there is Karma-Daksha Vishnu, who is breathing out all this universe air. So this is all the part of material world, which is only 1/3. And then beyond that is Brahma Jyoti. And then there is Kailash Dham. And then actually beyond that, then there is Brahma Jyoti, in which there are Vaikuntha planets which are floating. Like each avatar we see, Vaman, Kurma, Nrsimha, Varaha, and all that. They have each one have those planets. They're floating there. And the topmost of all that is Golok, Vrindavan. Golok, outside that is this Mathura, then Dwarka, and then Ayodhya. So all they are there. But the topmost is Golok. Golok and Navdip, it is said that, like that. So that is from here everything begins. So as Ete Chamskala Pumsa, Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Krishna is that original candle from whom everything expands, and the spiritual world and this material world. So spiritual world is like 3/4, and material world is the 1/4. So like that, that description is there. So that is only about the spiritual world, Vaikuntha planets. And there the Vishnu, different Vishnu incarnations of different names, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and there are like different names are there. So they preside over those planets. So that is what Prabhupada actually showed on that first canto cover, the Vaikuntha planets. And in central you see that, na? Radha, Krishna, and that Golok Vrindavan. So Prabhupada wanted to emphasize that this Bhagavatam, if you read and apply in your life, it becomes possible. It is practical. You can actually go back and transfer yourself to the spiritual world. It is not just theory. It is not just theoretical. By reading this literature, it is practically possible to go back home, back to Godhead. Prabhupada writes at one place also. It is not just theoretical. I am speaking, going back to Godhead, going back to Godhead. It is possible practically for you and me to transfer ourselves back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada wanted to show that this actually is our goal, and it's possible. It's not just idhar to hai somewhere and one day we have to go. We can go. It's possible. So like that, Prabhupada wanted to show this process is practical. It is not something impracticable, lofty process which only very, very rare few can do. Anybody can do, everybody can do, you and me can do. And Prabhupada is showing the goal, that this is the goal on the cover. Like that. Okay? So, yeah, Prabhupada, that's what. So, yeah, so this introduction is there. So, the huge introduction. We may cover some. At least today we should cover the introduction. Tomorrow we can start with the chapter. Yeah, so now I will ask one devotee, some few paragraphs, each one can read. Like that. We'll discuss. We'll read and discuss, like that we'll cover. So maybe today we can discuss and then tomorrow we can start chapter. So who has read just now? I think Ramkishore who read, right? So now I can see Yashika Ahuja. You can read the introduction.
Yes.
And I will tell you where to stop. So you continue.
Introduction by Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
Introduction by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The conception of God and the conception of absolute truth are not on the same level. The Srimad Bhagavatam hits on the target of the absolute truth. The conception of God indicates the controller, whereas the conception of the absolute truth indicates the summum bonum or the ultimate source of all energies. There is no difference of opinion about the personal feature of God as a controller, because a controller cannot be impersonal. Of course, modern government, especially democratic government, is impersonal to some extent. But ultimately, the chief executive head is a person, and the impersonal feature of government is subordinate to the personal feature. So, without a doubt, whenever we refer to control over others, we must admit the existence of a personal feature, because there are different controllers for different managerial positions. There may be many small gods. According to the Bhagavad Gita, any controller who has some specific extraordinary power is called a Vibhuti Mat Sattva, or controller empowered by the Lord. And there are many Vibhuti Mat Sattvas, controller or gods with various specific powers. but the absolute truth is one without a second. This Srimad Bhagavatam designates the absolute truth or the Samam Bonam as the Param Satyam. The
Okay,
author
fine,
of the
fine. I know somebody. Yeah, you can read Chaya Deshpande. Yes, Mataji. Chaya Deshpande, she is there. Yeah, you have to unmute and read. Yeah.
The author of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vasudev, first offers his respectful obeisances unto the Param Satyam, absolute truth. And because the Param Satyam is the ultimate source of all energies, the Param Satyam is the supreme person. The gods or the controllers are undoubtedly persons, but the Parama Satyam from whom the gods derive powers of control is the supreme person. The Sanskrit word Ishvara, controller, conveys the import of God, but the supreme person is called Parameshwara or the supreme Ishvara. The supreme person or Parameshwara is the supreme conscious personality, and because he does not derive any power from any other source, he is supremely independent. In the Vedic literatures, Brahma is described as the supreme god or the head of all other gods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna. But Srimad Bhagavatam confirms that even Brahma is not independent as far as his power and knowledge are concerned. He received knowledge in the form of Vedas from the Supreme Person who resides within the heart of every living being. That Supreme Personality knows everything directly and indirectly. Individual infinitesimal persons who are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality may know directly and indirectly everything about their bodies or external features, but the Supreme Personality knows everything about both his external and internal features.
Okay, fine, fine. Paragraph is over. No? Madan Mohan Prabhu.
The words Janmadi Asya suggests that the source of all production, maintenance, or destruction is the same supreme conscious person. Even in our present experience, we can know that nothing is generated from inner matter, but inner matter can be generated from the living entity. For instance, by contact with the living entity, the material body develops into working machine. Men with a poor fund of knowledge mistake the bodily machinery to be the living being. But fact is that the living being is the basis of the bodily machine. The bodily machine is useless as soon as the living spark is away from it. Similarly, the original source of all material energy is the Supreme Person. This fact is expressed in all the Vedic literatures. And all the exponents of spiritual science accepted this truth. The living force is called Brahman. And one of the greatest Acharya teachers, namely Sripad Shankaracharya, has preached that Brahman is the substance whereas the cosmic world is the category. The original source of all energies is the living force, and he is logically accepted as the Supreme Person. He is therefore conscious of everything past, present, and future, and also of each and every corner of his manifestations, both material and spiritual. An imperfect living being does not even know what is happening within his own personal body. He eats his food, but does not know how this food is transported into energy or how it sustains his body. When a living being is perfect, he is aware of everything that happens, since the Supreme Person is all perfect. It is quite natural that he knows everything in all detail. Consequently, the perfect personality is addressed in Srimad Bhagavatam as Vasudeva, or one who lives everywhere in full consciousness and in full possession of his complete energy. All of this is clearly explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the teacher and the reader has ample opportunity to study this critically.
Okay, fine. Next paragraph. Hemaram D. Chaudhary. Hemaram, right? Yeah. You can read. Others can mute them. Hem Ram, Ni Chaudhary Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I have no book, Prabhuji.
No book? How? You should have book. You are doing Bhakti Vaibhava, no?
Prabhuji.
Then everybody should have a book, and then how will you understand? Bhagavatam is necessary, Baba, if you are studying. You have to be all serious. Without book, what you will do?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
You should have book, or at least on laptop you have this database. So tomorrow you should have book.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Please, I want everybody to be attentive. That's why I ask everybody to read. Not one person to read. I come to know who is doing what. Okay, Parmeshwari Mataji, you can read. Okay.
Hare Krishna. In the modern age,
Echo is coming, Mataji.
Prabhu preached the Srimad Bhagavatam by practical demonstration. It is easier to penetrate into the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam through the medium of Sri Chaitanya's causeless mercy. A short sketch of his life and the prospects is inserted herein to help the reader understand the real merit of Srimad Bhagavatam.
You can read.
The imperative that one learn the Srimad Bhagavatam from the person Bhagavatam. The person Bhagavatam is one whose very life is Srimad Bhagavatam in practice. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the absolute personality of Godhead, he is the both Bhagavatam and Bhagavatam in person and in sound. Therefore, his process of approaching the Srimad Bhagavatam is practical for all people of the world. It is his wish that the Srimad Bhagavatam be preached in every nook and corner of the world by those who happen to take their birth in India.
Okay, fine. Oh, fine. Yeah, okay. So, till now we have seen Prabhupada describing about different aspects in the introduction. We see Prabhupada's introduction are quite long. Even in Bhagavad Gita, how many pages is the introduction? It's almost like some 40 pages or something.
40 pages. 40 pages.
Huge introduction. Bhagavatam also huge. CC also. The introduction is very important before we go inside, jump. So Prabhupada is speaking about the personal feature of the Lord, absolute truth. So Prabhupada is giving the example of government. When we say government, it looks impersonal. Government means what? Government, the infrastructure, so many laws, so many people, cabinet and the parliament, government. So, but behind that government, which is the infrastructure, impersonal, there is a person who is the prime minister, who is the ultimate authority for the government. And then, according to him, the government acts. So, behind the impersonal feature is always some person there, although we may not be able to see. We see that the country is running very nicely, the systems are working very nicely. So we see, but we may not see the person who is behind. But there is always some person behind the system. The government is like impersonal, but the person is behind that government. So like that, absolute truth includes everything. And God is one who is like a person who is actually driving the absolute truth. As absolute truth is like the concept of God as a person, then the Paramatma feature, then the impersonal feature, and then the living entities, and the whole material nature. All actually includes in the absolute truth. But God, that's what Prabhupada is saying, that God, the conception of God and absolute truth is not same. Absolute truth includes everything. And God is like the person behind this. So like that, Prabhupada gives three examples for these three Vadanti Tattvavidas, Tattvam Yad Jnana Advayam, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwan iti Shabdate. So three features of the absolute truth are Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan. So which are the three examples Prabhupada would give often to explain these three features of the absolute truth? Who can tell? Which are the examples? Okay. Charanaravinda Prabhu. Charanaravinda Prabhu.
Sunshine, sun and sun planet.
Sunshine, sun planet and sun god.
Sun god, right?
Yeah. So that's what Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan.
Yes.
So this is one first example. Okay, thank you. Second example, anybody else? Okay, Ram Kishore who has raised the hand. Mataji also can answer, I guess. So she, Ram Kishore and Mataji.
Prabhuji, I had the same example in mind.
Oh, okay.
Same as Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, then who else has raised the hand? Let me see. Sachi Sundari Mataji, yes. You can, yeah.
Train example is also there.
What? Which example?
Train.
Hmm.
The light of the train, then engine and the whole train.
Light. When in distance we see the light. When the train comes near, what we see?
The engine.
Are the bogies, different bogies. And when the train comes very near on the platform, what we see? Are the people coming out, and we see people also there. Person, ultimately the person, some person, people coming out. So that's what Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagwan teacher. Okay, second example. Who will tell the third example? Same people are raising hand. Another, I want to see some new faces also. Okay, Anand Mohan Prabhu and Punam Mataji. Yes, Prabhu.
The same example of train, like Prabhupada says that suppose if somebody is going from train and he sees a mountain, so first he sees only a big mountain but nothing, but one goes near, he sees that there are some trees also, something also, like many things. But and if some he goes further more near, he sees many other things like people also, like so.
Yeah. So a mountain example, from distance mountain looks very hazy, not clear.
Yeah.
Something hazy around. That is Brahman feature. When you go near, you see some trees, some stones, big rock. When you go near, then you see people also there. So that is the feature, right? So these three examples Prabhupada gives. The absolute truth, three features. So like that, Lord is there in these three features, but the ultimate feature of Lord is as a person, and from him other features manifest. So the personal feature is considered the topmost. Prabhupada would say so many times, how can you say God has no form when you and me have form? So very simple logic, good logic Prabhupada would give. And how can somebody who has no form and no qualities, you can love and reciprocate with such a person? So these are some simple logic Prabhupada would give. How can you reciprocate with somebody who has no hands, no legs, nothing? And you cannot have any relationship. God is light, they say. God is light, but God is something beyond light also. You will say. So Lord has a personal feature. He has such a beautiful form. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Adi Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. The Lord has such a beautiful form. And in Bhagavatam also such beautiful verses are there describing Lord's beauty. Sanchintayed Bhagavatah Charanarvindam Vajrankushah Bhajasarorulansanatyam Uttunga Rakta Vilasanna Chakravala Jyotna vi ahat mahad krida andhakara. Asam hare ramanatha kilaloka tivram. Shokashnu sagara vishoshana mattudaram. Sammohanaya rachitam nijamaya yasya. Bhrumandale minikte makarat vajasya. These are beautiful verses describe how Lord's lotus feet, what are the features, what are the signs on that, how Lord lotus face looks, how beautiful is the smile, how beautiful is his body. So Kunti Maharani also prays, Nama Pankaja Nabhaya, Nama Pankaja Maline, Nama Pankaja Netkaya, Namaste Pankaja Angraye. So many verses are there in Bhagavatam. Varha Pidam Natavarvapu. Naumidyate Abravapuje Taritam Paraya. So many nice, beautiful verses describing about the Lord's beauty. And how can somebody say, Lord has no legs, Lord has no hands, Lord has no face, no eyes? It's like Prabhupada tells one story that these Mayavadis, actually they say that Lord has, Lord is there, but he has no hands, no legs, no eyes. That is for that Prabhupada illustrates one story that how one king once announced in the kingdom that I have a parrot with me, and whoever takes care of this parrot very nicely, he will be rewarded huge amounts of money. But if the parrot dies, then that person dies. I will kill that person. So who is there? Anybody ready? So everybody was afraid. My God, we'll get nice reward, but if the parrot dies somehow, we'll have to lose life. So nobody was ready, but one person came, and he said, "I will take care." And then he took the parrot with him, and he kept at his house, and he would feed it daily and take nice care. And the king would reward him nicely, give him money, and he was taking care. But one day, what happened? As parrot also has some lifespan, and the parrot died. And when this person saw, my God, parrot has died. Now what will happen to me? I have to die. How should I tell the king? So king had told, what he had told? Anyone says to me, parrot has died, he has to die. How can I tell the king the parrot has died? So, but he was little intelligent. He uses intelligence and goes to the king. And the king asks, okay, how is everything, and how is the parrot? This parrot is fine. Everything is very nice. But what has happened? The parrot, he is not walking. Okay? Parrot is not walking, but everything else is okay, na? Yeah, everything else is okay. Only what has happened is parrot is not walking. Oh, yeah, it's okay. Other things okay, yeah. Other thing is okay. Only thing is now he is not flapping his wings. Oh, he is not flapping his wings also. Oh, really? But everything else is okay, na then? Everything else is okay. He's not just, he's not moving legs, and he's not flapping wings. But everything else is okay. Only he's not now eating also. Oh, he's not eating also. Oh, king said, he's not eating? Yeah, he's not eating. But everything else is fine, huh? Yeah. Everything else is fine. And only thing is now the parrot is not opening his eyes also. Oh, really? Parrot is not opening his eyes also, king said. Yeah. He's not walking also. His feet are also not moving. And he is not eating anything. Eyes are also closed. But everything else is okay, na? You see, everything else is okay. Only thing is now he's not breathing also. What? That means parrot is dead. The person said, see, I am not saying that. You are saying. What was the condition? You said that if you say parrot has died, then that person has to die. But I never said parrot has died. I just said that he is not walking, he is not flapping his wings, he is not eating, he is not opening his eyes, and he is not breathing. And you said he has died. I didn't say. So Prabhupada says that these Mayavadis are like that. What they say? Yeah, God is there. God is there, of course. We also say God is there. Only he doesn't have legs. And only he doesn't have hands. And he doesn't have nose. He doesn't have eyes. He doesn't have ears. He doesn't have face. He doesn't have body. But God, we believe in God. We are atheist. We believe in God. We are theist. We believe in God. We believe in God, but he doesn't have hands, legs. He doesn't have. He's nirgun, nirvishesh. That means you are atheist. Prabhupada says. You're understanding that? So they are covered atheist. Ultimately, what they are saying, God is not there. God has no hand, no leg, no hand. That means God is not there. Indirectly, they want to say God is not there. So it's like that. So these Mayavadis or impersonalists, they don't believe in the personal feature of it. They say nirgun, nirvishesh, and nirakar. But these terminologies are used in scriptures to indicate some deeper meaning. Can you tell what meanings these words indicate? What other meaning can it indicate? Nirgun, nirvishesh, nirakar. Why these words are used then? So if Lord has some akar, then why it's called nirakar? Lord has some qualities, then why it's said nirgun? Lord has some special feature, then why it's for nirvishesh? Okay, I would like to hear raising hands. Oh, not of them. Bharat Ji. Yes, Bharat Ji.
Yes, Prabhuji. When it says nirgun, that means it does not have a gun like it does not have material gun.
Lord doesn't have material qualities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nirakar, that means he does not have a material form.
And nirvishesh means they say Lord has no features. He doesn't have material features.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's why these words are used. Yeah. Nirgun, nirvishesh, nirakar. That doesn't mean he has no form. He has spiritual form. He has spiritual qualities. He has spiritual features. So these terms are there in scriptures. But we have to understand in proper context. So that's why Prabhupada is saying that Lord is a person. Personal feature of the Lord is the highest feature. So generally people, they think if there is a form, then that limits the activity of that person. Is it not? Why people think that Lord has no form? Because if form is there, that means you are there at one place. So you cannot be omnipresent everywhere. Because you have a form. Just like I am here. I have a form. That means I cannot be there at your place. And I cannot see what you are doing. Whether you are hearing or doing something else. I cannot know. Because my form means there is limitation. So that's why they think if form is there, there will be limitation. But that doesn't mean that if one doesn't have any form, that means he will become unlimited. You are getting the logic? What they say, form means limitation. Then according to same logic, no form means no limitations. Right? If their logic is, if you have form, that means limitation. Then what it means? One has no form, then it has no limitations. But now you see, a big building is there, and that is uda diya usko. Formless kar diya. Only debris are there. Just like in Turkey and Syria, there are formless rubble, debris. Does that mean unlimited? No form means unlimited. The debris have no form. There is a formless rubble and debris. Does it mean unlimitedness? If you say form means limitation, then what it means is no form means no limitation. But even in this material world, if there is no form, still there is limitations. So that's why this logic is wrong. That form means limitation. Material form means limitation. But spiritual form, no limitation. Lord can be at one place, but he still can be omnipresent. He has a beautiful form, and as a Paramatma or Vishnu, he is there in every atom. He is there everywhere. So that's what Prabhupada actually goes in great details. How Lord is a person and not just an impersonal feature. Prabhupada would get angry at this logic, and he would go at great length to defend Lord's personality. Like Prabhupada is also telling about Ekala Ishvara Krishna Arasa Prabhitya. How Krishna is the one God, and all of them are, all the conditioned living entities are dependent on him. So he explains in that the next paragraph how we are dependent living entities, and he is the one on whom we are dependent. He is independent, Swarat, but we depend on that person. So Prabhupada is giving a little bit about the first verse description, Janmadhyasya Yato Anvayad, in the introduction. Then Prabhupada is also speaking about life comes from life, and life doesn't come from chemicals. So wherever there is life, like Lord has life, and Lord produces so many lives more. So it cannot be something chemical or big bang from which life has come. Well, life is required from whom life will come, not from no life comes suddenly. So Prabhupada would say there is not a big bang, but there was a big brain behind the creation. And Prabhupada would also condemn Darwin, that how Darwin was a rascal, and his father may be monkey, but our father is not monkey. So as Loknath Swami Maharaj says that our ba is not amoeba, our ba is Vithoba. So who is our ba? According to Darwin? Who? Amoeba? Amoeba. So amoeba is the ba, according to Darwin. But actually, who is our ba? Is ba, you understand or no? Ba means who?
Father.
So father is actually our ba is Vithoba, Lord. So like that. So Darwin's theory Prabhupada condemned and criticized many times. One reporter came to Srila Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, we have evolved from monkeys. Prabhupada said, there is no question of evolution. You still are monkeys. Your activities are like monkeys only. You just run here and there to do sense gratification. So Prabhupada would criticize. So Prabhupada would say that life has come from life, and also big brain was required for this creation, not big bang. With a bang and what will you give scientific reason if somebody says that everything has come by big bang from an explosion? What can be a logical argument that how thing has not come from big bang but from big brain? How will you prove to your friend? Ramkishore Prabhu and Mataji. Yes, Ramkishore Prabhu. Yeah. So Ramkishore Prabhu and Mataji, both are there together. So yes, who wants to speak? The hand is there.
Yes, Prabhuji. So basically, big bang, whenever we see a bang, everything is destroyed. So it is not possible from something destructive that some creative explosion is not possible that some creative thing will happen. Only destruction will happen.
Yeah. Bang.
So,
yes.
So therefore, it is important that for creation it has to come from intelligent creator. That is only way it is possible.
Yeah.
And that is seen everywhere in the whole universe. So never we have seen from bang anything coming but destruction.
Yes, thank you.
Prabhupada used to say all these beautiful planets, all these beautiful plants, flowers, they cannot come from this bang.
Somebody is required, artist.
Artist is required.
Creator is required. Beautiful. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you. Just like recently they had explosion and where Chandni Chowk, right? They exploded that bridge, some time back. So, okay, you explored and then you want a new bridge, then again do one bang there and then create one bridge. But for creation, it takes so much time. For just banging it, it is destroyed. That. So by bang, only destruction comes. Yeah, Shweta Mataji.
That all I wanted to answer.
Okay, yeah. And one more argument we can give.
Somebody should bang it, otherwise how? This Big Bang theory means somebody should bang it. Somebody should, otherwise how will automatically by chance it will not come.
Yeah, for the explosion also somebody has to press the button. Yeah, good. Thank you. Acha. So, yeah. Okay. Anuj Goyal bro, the hand is also.
Devotees also give this example that if we keep all the, like scientists say, like there were all the ingredients required for the creation. So like if we keep all the ingredients, if we keep sugar, atta and like ghee together and we do explosion, so halwa will not come. So
you have to stir and do a lot of effort for the halwa.
So some intelligence is required, some person is required to make halwa.
Very nice. That Newton story is there, no? That Newton, that he makes a small model solar system, and his atheist friend come and he says, "Who has made this model of solar system? Just by moving the crank, all the planets move around the sun in perfect orbit in their own time." He says, "Such a beautiful model of solar system. Who has made Newton?" And Newton was a believer of God, but this friend was atheist. Newton says, "Yesterday what I did on the table, I kept plaster of Paris and glue and this, that, and that. In the morning I saw everything ready by chance. By chance it cannot happen. You must have made, somebody has made." He says, "Arey nahi baba, maine just rakha tha idhar, subah dekha to sab tayar." He is not ready. They believe. So Newton says, if you are not ready to believe that this small solar system model has come by chance, how you believe that such a big model of actual solar system has come by chance? Then you understand. So this we can tell. And there is one scientific argument which you can give other than this. This for simple people, and then little scientific is I don't know whether you remember our thermodynamics. In that there was one rule, third law of Newton, entropy. Anybody remembers? If
yes, Prabhuji. Entropy will always increase. It can never come back.
Entropy of a system always increases if there is no supervision over the system.
Yes.
And what is entropy is the disorder in simple terms. So this is the law, scientific law. So with this scientific law itself, it disproves the Big Bang. So take their theory only and put again their theory. So the entropy of a system always increases. Means the disorder in any system just increases if it is left unattended. So if the whole universe by bang it happens and you just leave it to itself, then only disorder has to increase. Then how the order has come in the whole universe? There must be some supervision that is. So by their own theory we have to refute their theory. So this is for more little scientific. But don't worry, this will not come in your exam of what is entropy. You need not worry. Okay, so we'll read ahead now some portion more. And of course, Prabhupada is saying about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is like person Bhagavad, the book Bhagavad. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said how that, book Bhagavad, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like book Bhagavad and person Bhagavad, and there is book Bhagavad, is Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Prabhupada is also giving short sketch about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ahead. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has told that the Srimad Bhagavatam is Prema Pumartha Mahan. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is like Amal Puran. And he himself would read hundreds and hundreds of times Srimad Bhagavatam and relish the stories of Prahlad and Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Okay, so we'll read little, go ahead and try to cover as much, not the complete. Till where we read, sketch. Okay, now Anjul Goel. Prabhu, you can read. I think here
Yes,
we
Prabhu.
have.
1 second.
Life sketch. You can read from there.
A short sketch of the life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the preacher of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great apostle of love of God and the father of the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, advented himself at Sri Dham Mayapur, a quarter in the city of Navdeep in Bengal, on the Falguni Purnima evening in the year 1407, Shakabd, corresponding to February 1486 by the Christian calendar.
February what?
1486.
February 18.
1486.
So the book says 1486.
And the date is not given?
February,
Yeah,
it says.
not there, just month and
Oh, but
year.
here in the Vedas, February 18 is given. Achha.
I'm also reading from Veda, but Vedabase online Vedabase.
Yeah, that's given February 18?
No, date is not given, Project.
Oh, then in 2019 Vedas, it's given. Anyway, this is good information you can remember. February 18, 1486.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
His father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, a learned Brahmana from the district of Silhat, came to Navdeep as a student because at that time Navdeep was considered to be the center of education and culture. He domiciled on the banks of the Ganges after marrying Srimati Sachi Devi, a daughter of Srila Nilambar Chakravarti, the great learned scholar of Navdeep. Jagannath Mishra had a number of daughters by his wife, Srimati Sachi Devi, and most of them expired at an early age. Two surviving sons, Sri Vishwarup and Vishwambar, became at last the object of their parental affection. The 10th and youngest son, who was named Vishwambar, later became known as Nimai Pandit, and then after accepting the renounced order of life, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his transcendental activities for 48 years and then disappeared from this mortal world in the year 1455, Shakabd at Puri. For his first 24 years, he remained at Navdeep as a student and householder. His first wife was Srimati Lakshmi Priya, who died at an early age when the Lord was away from home. When he returned from East Bengal, he was requested by his mother to accept a second wife, and he agreed. His second wife was Srimati Vishnu Priya Devi, who bore the separation of the Lord throughout her life because the Lord took the order of sannyas at the age of 24, when Srimati Vishnu Priya was barely 16 years old. After taking sannyas, the Lord made his headquarters at Jagannath Puri due to the request of his mother Srimati Sachi Devi. The Lord remained for 24 years at Puri. For 6 years of this time, he traveled continuously all over India and especially throughout southern India, preaching the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya not only preached the Srimad Bhagavatam but also propagated the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita as well in the most practical way. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna is depicted as the absolute personality of Godhead, and his last teachings in that great book of transcendental knowledge instruct that one should give up all the modes of religious activities and accept him, Lord Sri Krishna, as the only worshipable Lord. The Lord then assured that all his devotees would be protected from all sort of sinful acts and that for them there would be no cause of anxiety. Unfortunately, despite Lord Krishna's direct order and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, less intelligent people misunderstand him to be nothing but a great historical personality, and thus they cannot accept him as the original personality of Godhead. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge are misled by many non-devotees. Thus, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita were misinterpreted even by great scholars. After the disappearance of Lord Krishna, there were hundreds of commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita by many erudite scholars, and almost every one of them was motivated by self-interest.
Okay, fine. Just a minute. Somebody else can read now. Charanarvinda Prabhu, can you read?
Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the self-same Lord Sri Krishna. This time, however, he appeared as a great devotee of the Lord in order to preach to the people in general, as well as to the religionists and philosophers, about the transcendental position of Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord, and the cause of all causes. The essence of his preaching is that Lord Sri Krishna, who appeared at Vrajbhumi, Vrindavan, as the same of the king, as the son of the king of Raja, Nand Maharaj, is the supreme personality of Godhead and therefore worshipable by all. Vrindavan Dham is non-different from the Lord because the name, fame, and form and place where the Lord manifests himself are all identical with the Lord as absolute knowledge. Therefore, Vrindavan Dham is as worshipable as the Lord. The highest form of the transcendental worship of the Lord was exhibited by the damsels of Rajbhumi in the form of pure affection for the Lord. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends this process as a most excellent mode of worship. He accepts the Srimad Bhagavad Puran as the spotless literature for understanding the Lord. And he preaches that the ultimate goal of life for all human beings is to attain the stage of prema or love of God. Many devotees of Lord Chaitanya like Vrindavan Das Thakur, Sri Lochan Das Thakur, Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Kavi Karnapurna, Sri Prabodhanand Saraswati, Sri Rup Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Sri Jeev Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and in this later age, within 200 years, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan, Sri Shamanand Goswami, Sri Narottam Das Thakur, Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and last Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our spiritual master, and many other great renowned scholars and devotees of the Lord have prepared voluminous books and literature on the life and the precepts of the Lord. Such literatures are all based on the Shastras like the Vedas, Puranas, Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other histories and authentic literatures approved by the recognized acharyas. They are unique in composition and unrivaled in presentation, and they are all full of transcendental knowledge. Unfortunately, the people of the world are still ignorant of them. But when these literatures, which are mostly in Sanskrit and Bengali, come to light the world, and when they are presented before thinking people, then India's glory and the message of love will overflood this morbid world, which is vainly searching after peace and prosperity by various illusory methods and not approved by the acharyas in the chain of disciplic succession.
Okay. Let me see. Vinay Nilambar, would like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. The readers of this small description of the life and precepts of Lord Chaitanya will profit much to go through the books of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakura, Srila Chaitanya Bhagavata, and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The early life of the Lord is most fascinatingly expressed by the author of Chaitanya Bhagavata. And as far as the teachings are concerned, they are more vividly explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now they are available to the English-speaking public in our teachings of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord's early life was recorded by one of his chief devotees and contemporaries, namely Srila Murari Gupta, a medical practitioner of that time. And the latter part of the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was recorded by his private secretary, Sri Damodara Goswami, or Srila Swarup Damodara, who was practically a constant companion of the Lord at Puri. These two devotees recorded practically all the incidents of the Lord's activities, and later on, all the books dealing with the Lord, which are above mentioned, were composed on the basis of Karcha notebooks by Srila Damodara Goswami and Murari Gupta.
Okay, so just a minute. Yeah, Vishwakirti Prabhu. Like to read? Vishwakirti Prabhu. Then, you are there. Vishwakirti Das. You can show your video.
Yes. Audible?
Yes.
So the Lord advented himself on the Falguni Purnima evening of 1407 Shakabda, and it was by the will of the Lord that there was a lunar eclipse on that evening. During the hours of eclipse, it was the custom of Hindu public to take bath in the Ganges or any other sacred river and chant the Vedic mantras for purification. When Lord Chaitanya was born during a lunar eclipse, all India was roaring with the holy name, holy sound of Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The 16 names of the Lord are mentioned in many Puranas and Upanishads, and they are described as the Taraka Brahmana of this age. It is recommended in Shastras that offenseless chanting of this holy name of the Lord can deliver a fallen soul from the material bondage. There are innumerable names of the Lord both in India and outside, and all of them are equally good because all of them indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because the 16 are especially recommended for this age, people should take advantage of them and follow the path of great acharyas to attain success by practicing the rules of the Shastra, revealed scriptures.
Okay, fine. So here again now Prabhupada is briefly. I think there is a chance. Oh, I may not be able to. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's brief sketch, because he is a person Bhagavad. In the Bhagavatam book Bhagavad, there should be mention of the person Bhagavad. That's why Prabhupada has given the short sketch about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, as we somebody's mic is on. Whose mic is on? Please mute. Madan Mohan Prabhu, please mute. No. Okay. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we know, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. So same Lord. Okay. Sound is coming. Madan Mohan Prabhu, dear Madan Mohan Prabhu, please mute. The sound is disturbing others. Everyone, who is the host? Please tell Madan Mohan Prabhu. So once one person came to Prabhupada and he was telling, Swamiji, which is more important, worshipping Radha Krishna or worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So Prabhupada gave a very nice analogy. So which is greater, worship Radha Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So Prabhupada said, just like if I give you a glass of milk, you will drink it. And afterwards I give you some sugar, you will eat that. But will you really like it? If you are given a glass of milk without sugar, you will drink it, and afterwards you are given sugar and you eat. Okay, it's okay, but you will not so much relish, right? But Prabhupada said, if you are given combination of milk and sugar and nice, what is made? Rasgulla is made up of the milk and sugar combination. Rasgulla is what? Combination of what? Milk and sugar. When Rasgulla is given to you, which one you will take? The milk and sugar or the combination which is Rasgulla? What about you all? What do you prefer? Rasgulla or milk and sugar? Everybody is thinking.
Combination.
Huh?
Rasgulla.
Rasgulla. Sure, na? Anyway, I am not giving you anything. I am just asking. Don't expect I will give Rasgulla at the end of the class. So everybody will like Rasgulla. That is combination. And milk and sugar. So tasty. So Prabhupada said similarly, worshipping Radha and Krishna is like drinking milk and sugar. It's okay. But worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like eating Rasgulla. Which one you will like? Then that person understood. Rebo. I would prefer Rasgulla. So that's why. See Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna. Yeah. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is who? Radha and Krishna combined together. He is Krishna who has come in the mood of Radharani. Yeah. Mata Parameshwari, Mata, your mic is on. Please mute. Everybody can please be careful. The class get disturbed. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here, who is avatari. Who actually comes very rarely. Once in one day of Anarpita Charim Chirad Karunaya Avatirna Halau Samarpitam Unvata Ujjvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Duti Kadam Vasantipta Sadha Hriday Kandare Spuritava Sachinandana. Anarpita Charim Chirad means for a very long time Lord doesn't come. Lord himself doesn't come as avatari. So Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu themselves as Lord and themselves, they don't come for a long time, only once in one day of them. And what is the length of one day of Brahma? Anybody knows? How many years? Earthly years? What is the duration of one day of Brahma? Yes, Ram. Yes, Ram.
2000 Maha.
Huh?
Sorry, Prabhu. 2000 Mahayugas.
How many years?
2000 into.
No. Okay, Ram.
Prabhuji, Kali Yuga is 4,32,000.
That you calculate, but how much is one day? You tell me. How many years?
12 hours is 43 lakh years, so around 86 lakh years.
No. That is 43 lakh is one Divya
12
Yuga.
hours.
No. In Brahma's day, there are 1000 Divya Yugas.
Yes.
Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Vidhu. You have to multiply 43 lakh by 1000.
1000, yes.
So that comes 8.6 billion years total, 24 hours of one day of Brahma. 8.6 billion. So उसमें से अनार्पित चिरिम चिरा चैतन्य महाप्रभु comes. प्रेम रस करीते निर्यात. So he comes to actually taste the sweetness and distribute that sweetness, rasa. So that he comes only one day. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and in the same Dwapar Yuga Krishna also comes. In that Kali Yuga Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, and he gives this Ujjvala rasa, that is highest Madhurya rasa. Other times there is called Gaur Narayan comes, and who also propagates chanting, but he doesn't give Ujjvala rasa. He doesn't give the highest. So as when Krishna came and he gave Bhagavad Gita, so in that he said, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Shanam Am Tvam Sarvapti Mokshisham Masya. But then Krishna, when he went back, he thought, I didn't show that how to surrender. I just said that surrender. But I didn't show how to surrender. So Krishna had a incomplete feeling by giving whole Bhagavad Gita. He said, ye bataya nahi, kaise karna hai? So that's why then Mahaprabhu comes, and then Mahaprabhu, what he does, he shows Apani Achari Shikhai Musabare, how to surrender. And the same verse he little bit changes. Sarva Dharman Parityajya Naam Ekam Sharanam Taja. Maam के जगह पे क्या कर दिया? नाम. माम को नाम कर दिया चैतन्य. नाम एकम शरणम रज. One who takes the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. One who surrenders to the holy name, one who continuously chants this holy name, it is considering as good as surrendering to Krishna. So he showed by his own example how to surrender to Krishna. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like a Channa avatar. He's a devotee Lord. So he came and showed. So Prabhupada is writing that how Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita was written. Chaitanya Charitamrita was written by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Chaitanya Bhagavat was written by Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is considered Vyasadev, reincarnation again, Vyasadev. So it is that Chaitanya Bhagavat was written. And Chaitanya Bhagavat reference was taken from Murari Gupta's Kadchas. And Murari Gupta wrote mostly about early childhood pastime. So Chaitanya Bhagavat has early childhood pastime. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami heard from Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami read elaborately from Swarup Damodar Goswami's Kadcha, which dealt mostly with the final pastimes of the Lord. So that's why Chaitanya Charitamrita has mostly Sannyas Leela more elaborate. Chaitanya Bhagavat has early pastime and Chaitanya Charitamrita has later pastimes. And then Chaitanya Mangal has mix. And there are almost like Chaitanya Charit, Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nata, Chaitanya, and there are some like that 27 biographies are there of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But topmost amongst them is considered Chaitanya Charitamrita because it's a blend of philosophy and pastime, both together. Most of the other the literature has only pastime, but this Chaitanya Charitamrita is considered the king of all, was king of all biographies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because it has blend of philosophy and pastimes. So like that, Prabhupada is describing about Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and then Prabhupada is saying that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful. So as we know, Narsingadev is most powerful. Narsingadev is powerful. Then Lord Ram is powerful and beautiful. Then Krishna is powerful, beautiful, and wonderful. Because he does such mischievous activity, Makhan Chor, Run Chor. That's why Krishna is powerful, he is beautiful, and he is wonderful. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is powerful, beautiful, wonderful, and merciful. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has all combined together. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why Prabhupada is actually giving the life sketch of Mahaprabhu, how he lived, and how about Murari Gupta is also telling this devotees who were there in childhood pastime, Nimai Pandit, Murari Gupta, and then Srivas Thakur, and they were all there. So Prabhupada is giving a brief sketch from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we may not go into all the details of life story. We may read that in Chaitanya Charitamrita when we go to Bhakti Sarvabhaum. But you can read this complete introduction. We may not be able to cover, but Prabhupada has given a brief sketch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So from tomorrow we'll start with the first chapter because we covered today preface and introduction, and that contains some brief sketch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life story. So one just brief pastime I will tell about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in childhood pastime with Murari Gupta, because Murari Gupta's name has come. And then we will end, or maybe one question we can take. So Murari Gupta was a childhood friend, and he was a little senior to Nimai Pandit. But this Nimai Pandit would always tease Murari Gupta. Because Nimai Pandit, nobody could stand in front of him, whether senior, junior, in grammar debate. So Murari Gupta would generally try to run away from Nimai Pandit. So one day when Murari Gupta was walking, so Nimai Pandit confronted. And Nimai Pandit said to Murari Gupta that you are doing devotion to Lord Krishna, but your devotion is not pure. It is tinged with jnana. So Murari Gupta, although a physician, he was a great devotee, but he was little a jnani type bhakta. So some jnana mishrit bhakti. So Nimai Pandit said, you should either do pure devotion and not mixed. It doesn't look good. So Murari Gupta said, what you know about bhakti? You are just a Pandit, Nimai Pandit. And what you can say about bhakti? And you are saying, I am having jnana tinge. And then he just walked away. Then Nimai said, okay, I will teach you today afternoon what I meant. And then when Murari Gupta went home, tired after his physician duty, and then he asked his wife to bring a plate of prasadam. He was hungry. And then the plate was brought nice, and then he started saying the prayers, and he was starting to eat the prasad. And when he was eating, that time this Nimai Pandit, maybe he's like 10 years old. So he came from behind hidingly, and when Murari Gupta was eating his food, he passed urine in the food. And seeing this, Murari Gupta was so much frustrated. He said, what you done? Just imagine somebody urinates in the pool. It is so dirty. And Murari Gupta was so much surprised, taken aback, and he said, what you have done, Nimai, you mischievous naughty boy, get out. And Nimai said, see what I told in the morning. Now, just this, you are performing Jnana Mishrit Bhakti, you are performing Bhakti, but in that you are adding Jnana. So it is just like nice plate of prasadam is there and you add urine in it. It's you cannot take it. You don't like it. This is not. So similarly, Lord doesn't like Bhakti which is tinged with Jnana or Karma. You should do pure devotion service. That is very relishable for the Lord. And that's how Nimai said and ran away from it. So this is the last time which comes, I think, in Chaitanya Mangal. So you can read the introduction later. That is a brief description of sketch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, all his 48 years, 24 Adi Lila, 6 middle 6 years he is traveling in Madhya Lila, traveling to South India and other part, and then last 18 years is Ante Lila, which he spent in Jagannath Puri. So you can read briefly that today. Then tomorrow we'll start with the first half. Okay. Anybody has any question or something? Then we'll end here then. We'll meet then tomorrow. Okay.
Fine. Prabhuji, some practical question regarding, we have just received the handbook of the Bhakti Vaibhava course. So, in that every small event preface has many open book questions, many short answer, close book questions. So, what are we expected to solve? How many, will we know at the beginning so that we, as the classes go over, we'll start marking and, trying to solve, because we are fresh, when the class is given.
Okay, I will also just check with our PBRV about the preface and what about the test of preface and introduction. I will also go through that handbook. I also didn't see it properly. So maybe tomorrow I'll address this before beginning. You just remind me. Then we'll discuss this also.
Yes.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll meet at 3. Yeah.
So one question, what will be the timing for tomorrow?
Yeah, basically 3 to 5 was told to me, 3 to 5. 3 to 5. So today we started maybe 15 minutes early, but 3 to 5 is good. So 3 to 5 is okay for everybody?
Can we little early if possible?
Oh, early.
Yes.
Early means?
5 I can't join the I already mentioned for us.
Pardon?
3 to 5 I can't join Prabhuji. I have other engagements. I already informed Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, actually it's little early because Sunday is what temple programs, evening also the classes and all there, no? So if it is little early, it'll be nice.
Okay, I will just actually Sakshi Asipur is there in this meeting. Sakshi Asipur. You can discuss with them later.
Prabhuji, actually we had a vote on the WhatsApp group, and so based on that, I think one common decision have to be taken. So basically, based on that, maybe Prabhuji can address.
Yeah, Sakshi Asipur is the coordinator. So he will answer your queries about timings, and also you can answer about this question about handbook and questions. Sakshi Asipur.